In this video, I'm going to show you how you can learn half piro flips using 4 basic steps. And as a little bonus, I'm going to show you at the end how you can easily reverse the half piro flips. Well, relatively easily. Now this video is very similar to another video I did called Half Piro Flips Step by Step. But this time we're going to learn half piro flips without the Piro Trainer. The Piro Trainer is a very useful tool that most of the sims have, but some people don't get on with it or would prefer to learn without it. So we'll go through the 4 steps and see if we can get you learning this move, which we see in almost every 3D flight in one form or another. Now we're going to start in a stable position, tail in, and the model we're going to pop it up so it's knife edge and the nose is pointing to the left. And then you're going to bring it back down into its original stable position. So you want to try and pop it up, give yourself a bit of height, a bit of time, get it skids in, nose left, and then back to the original position. Now, if you're struggling with this, what you can do is you can turn the model side on, and you can just do the bit where you pop it up and get it to skids in. Bring it back down again. Just do a couple of those, and when you get to the top, you want to make sure that it's square on and that the boom is at horizontal. Now once you're happy with that's working, or you've got control over the model at the top, you can turn it back to its original stable position, and we can do it again. So we're just going to go up, knife edge, and bring it back down again. Now the second exercise, we're going to start from the same position, so from tail in, which is your stable position, and then we're going to pop it up to blades in and nose right. Now at the top, you want the boom to be horizontal, and you want the model to be really square onto you. And then on the way down, you should find it fairly easy because you're just bringing that tail back into that original stable position. So nice and square and back. Now if you're struggling with this, you can go side on again. And we're just going to pop it up into that knife edge position. You're looking for the boom to be really, really horizontal and for the model to be square onto you. And you can play with the model a bit at this point just to get a feeling of what the controls are doing, because it is nice to have to learn that. And then once you've got that, you can return to tail in, and you can start doing them with the twist and bringing them back into that original stable position. And if you need a little bit more time as well, you can take it up even higher, just so you've got enough time before it drops out, and come back to that stable position. In the third exercise, we're actually going to start from inverted tail in. So this is now your new stable position. And we're going to go up to nose right, blades in, which is exactly the same as what we were doing before. So tail in inverted, pop it up, give yourself a bit of height, a bit of time, get it to that blades in position, nose right. As before, you want the boom to be horizontal and you want the model to be nice and square onto you. And then as it drops, it should be fairly easy to return back to your stable position, because that's probably where you're the strongest. If you are struggling with that knife edge position still, you can go back to side on, but this time we'll start from the inverted position. So we're going to go from inverted side on, we're going to push it up to blades in, get it square on, boom horizontal, and then bring it back down. And if you're finding this a little too easy, you can throw in a little pirouette, just to see if you can still keep control of it. And then once you're happy with those, return to tail in inverted, and take it up to that knife edge position and back. And this is a really useful way of learning this, because you're learning the movement one way, but you're also learning it the other way. So in effect, we're actually learning 2 maneuvers at the same time, which will come in useful later. And for the final exercise, we're going to start in that tail in inverted position again, but this time we're going to be pushing it up to skids in and nose to the left. So same as what we did in the first exercise, except this time we're starting tail in inverted. Now this is not going to be easy. This is probably going to be one of the most difficult ones, because you're starting from inverted tail in, which is not necessarily the strongest stable position, and we're going up to skids in, which is notoriously difficult, or one of the last orientations that people tend to learn. So if you are struggling with this, we can turn it side on again. And we'll do exactly the same as in all the other exercises. Push it up, get the boom horizontal, make it knife edge, nice and square on, and bring it back down. And as you go up into that knife edge position, give it a little bit of elevator, give it a bit of rudder, make it swirl around a bit, and then bring it back into position, just to make it a little bit harder so you work at it. So this one will start side on, and we'll go up, and we reach the position, but then we'll bring it back to tail in inverted. So we've already started the exercise. And then once you're happy with that, then we can start in the tail in inverted position. And exactly the same as before. Just push it up, give yourself a bit of height, organize yourself, and then come back down to that original start position. Now you'll have noticed that a lot of these positions have been shared amongst all 4 exercises. So the 2 start positions and the 2 knife edge position are all shared. And this is all really important because we're going to link it together in the next exercise. And here's where we get to put those 4 exercises together. So this was the first exercise we did, where we went up, started upright and went into that nose left position. But now we're going to carry it through so we come back to inverted tail in. And then we had the third exercise where we started tail in inverted, and we went up to knife edge. But this time when we go to knife edge, we're going to bring it back to tail in upright. And this is what we're going to do. We're just going to link all of those exercises that we know how to do, and we're going to link them together until it becomes this half piro flip. So go up, knife edge, inverted, and up again, knife edge, back into tail in upright. And once you feel that's getting smoother and smoother, and you're actually getting more confident in what the sticks are going to do and that you're pushing them in the right direction, you can really smooth it out. You don't have to go quite as high. And if you ever get stuck, you can go straight back into doing each of the exercises individually. And here we're making it really smooth, really low, just trying to control it as much as possible. And this is where you can practice those individual exercises. So if you've got a weak point, once you've started moving this all around and you've got a weak point, do each individual exercise so you can really pick on it. So you don't have to do all 4 exercises again, just pick on the ones that you find are really weak. Now one thing you want to try and do is get that main shaft to go straight over. So the main shaft goes straight over, points away from you, and it keeps a perfect plane in line with you. And the reason for that is that when you make adjustments to the collective during the maneuver, so you're trying to give yourself more height, if that main shaft is perfectly straight and in line with you and you make that collective adjustment, it's going to stay in line. It's not going to move left or right. The problem is if the main shaft is now skewing left or right, so you can see here, I'm moving the collective, pumping it a little bit, but the model is not moving left or right. It's actually staying pretty straight. Now, if I try and do a half piro flip and I let the main shaft skew over to the left or right, and I do those collective corrections, you're going to see the model move to the right. So you want to try and keep that as straight as possible. So here I'm doing the flip, I'm letting the main shaft sort of point to the left, and then as I do those collective corrections, it's actually moving the model that way, which is not what we want. So you want that main shaft to be as straight as possible as it goes over. And this will really help when you start moving onto things like full piro flips. If you can keep that main shaft straight and in line with you, it'll look really, really neat. As we've been practicing these exercises both forwards and backwards, one side effect is that we can actually reverse the piro flip. So previously we were going forward and away from ourselves, but here we're actually going to piro flip back towards ourselves. So from here, knife edge, tail in inverted, knife edge, tail in. Then forwards again, So you see the model is flipping away, and then we change it, and now the model is flipping back. And it's using those same 4 positions that we've practiced. So you should find this relatively easy. And as before, if you get stuck on any of the positions, just go back to the single exercises and practice that from tail in to knife edge, back to tail in. Now these exercises are a little bit experimental. They may be far more difficult than I'm actually making out. But when I went through this sort of thing in the previous step-by-step video, I think it really helped people. And I do find with things like Piro Flips and Piro TikToks, it's almost a war of attrition. You need to try it in a lot of different ways until something clicks. And it actually doesn't seem to depend on the video or exercise that you're trying to do. It's almost like you suddenly realize and you see the orientations and you can visualize the orientations. So it's definitely a case of you just have to keep trying, and this might just be the video that does it for you and makes things really, really clear. So let me know in the comments what you think, and feel free to send me any requests for any other maneuvers that you want me to cover. Until next time.